Studios original.
Hello and welcome to Web Crawlers, a podcast where we do a deep dive into some of our favorite unsolved mysteries. Each week we will introduce our topic, lay out our research and findings, reveal some conspiracy theories, and conclude with our own hypothesis. Who knows, we might even solve the case because we have almost every week so far.
In one way or the other. We've solved it.
Allegedly.
And also, go to iTunes and rate us. Give us 5 stars.
Yeah.
We've been getting some really great reviews. One of them that was titled Mysteriously Charming.
Yes.
I appreciated that a lot, so thank you.
Yeah, we've gotten 2 1-star reviews by people who just don't... By
haters.
Probably by the FBI.
It's Bob Lazar in Area 51.
Yeah, honestly, the FBI gave us 1-star reviews trying to take us down. But we're not going to have that, are we?
No, we're going to stand...
We're going to stand tall.
We're not going to take these 1-star reviews from the CIA.
No, not at all.
Presidents.
Yeah. Anyways.
Whatever.
Yeah, the president. Melissa, what's our weird thing of the week?
Okay, our weird thing of the week is actually sent in by a listener.
Yeah, what listener is it?
It's a guy named Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
I didn't say his last name.
Because,
I mean,
we don't want the CIA coming after him.
He lives in the UK.
Okay, Paul from the UK. Thank you.
He sent in a story. He actually commented on Reddit and was like, hey, I have a story about a shaky head man.
Our web crawlers Reddit?
Our web crawlers Reddit.
Amazing.
That we have.
Thriving community.
Tens of listeners.
Yeah.
So this guy was like, do you want this story? I don't want to post it and spoil it on here. I'm like, yeah. So he's emailed it to webcrawlerspod@gmail.com.
And we respond to all of our emails, DMs.
We love emails because we have a lot of time to respond to emails. Okay, so Paul sent this story. It was 24 years ago in Wales, in the UK. Paul was 11 at the time.
Oh my God.
He was at home with his brother and his sister and the sister's boyfriend named Gaz. They were watching Brewster's Millions.
Oh my God.
And everyone fell asleep except him and Gaz. And around 11 p.m., they heard the gate to their yard open, and they assumed it was their mom coming back for the night. So they started to walk downstairs to greet her. But instead of the mom, they saw this guy, like a scruffy looking guy who was like 6 feet tall.
Hot.
And so they freeze. He locks eyes with them, and the dude starts shaking his head like, no. Like shaking it like back and forth.
Oh my God.
And so Paul is 11, so he runs back upstairs, wakes everyone up. Then they hear, like a few minutes later, they hear footsteps coming up the stairs and a knock on their door. And they're like, who's there? And it's their mom. It's like, it's me. And so they open the door and they're like, what the fuck? There was a guy here. And the mom's like, no, like doesn't believe them.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I just walked in. There's no one here. And so they're like, he's convinced there was like this guy in his house. So then 1 week later, he was hanging out in his house and he sees a jogger pass by. And the jogger stops, looks into his house, and it's the same guy shaking his head at him.
What?
And so Paul runs to tell his brothers and sisters, and they see the guy. They go out to chase him, but the guy like runs away like into the woods.
Oh my God.
And they don't get him.
What?
So he didn't see them. He didn't see the guy for a while. And then 8 years later.
8 years?
When Paul was 19, he was living with his girlfriend. And he comes home one day.
In the house or a different house?
It's a different house. It's like one town over. And he comes home and the girlfriend is like totally freaked out. Because she's like, there was a guy staring in the window shaking his head at her. She knows the story of the shaky head guy because he's been telling his friends about it. And he's like, are you just like fucking with me? And she's like, no, there was a fucking guy shaking his head. And so he's like, okay, well, that's fucked up. Like, he doesn't know if he believes her or not. And it's like, are you fucking with me? And she's like hysterical. And then 3 days later,
oh no,
they're hanging out and they're watching TV. The girlfriend's like, oh my God, it's him. He's back. And Paul looks up and it's the fucking shaky head man stands there outside their window.
From when he was 11, the same guy?
Same guy. So he's 19 now. The shaky head guy walks to the front door and stands there and is just like knocking on the door.
Oh my God.
And so they're like, then he just leaves after like 10 minutes.
What?
It's
That's so scary.
Why didn't they try to talk? This is producer Maria.
Hi, Maria.
Hi, Maria.
Why didn't they try to talk to him? I mean, wouldn't you have tried to talk to him?
Well, that's what he said in his email. He's like, well, now I'm an adult.
Yeah.
I'm going to go confront this guy and see what the fuck is going on. But he apparently like left. He just like walked off.
What do you guys think that is?
I don't know.
I don't know. And then so a week later, they're upstairs watching a movie. They hear the door open.
What? Sorry.
They hear the door open. They rush downstairs, but no one's there.
Maybe he's a ghost.
Well, why would a ghost be jogging?
Yeah, you're already like a skeleton. You don't need to lose weight.
That's true.
He doesn't have to worry about his heart health.
Yeah. But he said as a
point.
kid, he thought it maybe could be someone who like escaped from a psychiatric ward, which,
Oh my God.
but he hasn't seen him since.
I found another weird thing.
Another shaky head man.
It wasn't a shaky head man, but I started following this Instagram account and it was like weird things daily or like conspiracy theory.
Weird things daily.
And it's this guy, a singer named John Sullivan, recorded an album titled UFO with some strange lyrics about him leaving his family and going with aliens. After some time, he actually disappeared without a trace. His car was found on a dark road and he was never seen again.
What?
I don't know. I just found that on my
He
way over
recorded
here.
an album about aliens.
He recorded an album about aliens, and then years later, his car was found on a dark road, abandoned, and he was never seen again.
Well, he was abducted.
Right?
There's really literally no other explanation.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's just something I found. Something to consider
Okay.
in addition to Shaggy Head Man.
Okay, shaky head man and UFO songwriting abduction man.
Yeah.
Do you guys think there's any way to find the shaking head man?
I mean,
Does
this was
Erios
a-
have money to send us to Liverpool?
to Wales.
To Wales. Maybe on
I
a,
just wanted to go to Liverpool.
maybe on a
I was
boat.
just curious.
Yeah. We
I
could
don't know. We could. I didn't really do any more research into it,
I don't know. We'll have to
which is
email Paul
unlike
back.
me.
Yeah.
That was a while ago.
Yeah. Circle back with Paul. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, Paul, you got to find him first,
Yeah,
Paul.
Paul,
We're
find
hiring you as a researcher.
Anyways, on to our main topic.
Yes, our main topic.
I still can't look back and actually understand what happened. Seeing her actually run over by the wheels of the trailer itself.
Maybe it's suicide pact.
The officers don't know that the injured women are twin sisters.
Her strength was phenomenal.
You guys, watch it! No! Legs down! Legs down!
Jesus Christ, have you ever seen that before?
So this week, our main topic is about Ursula and Sabina Eriksson. They are two Swedish twins who went nuts. They ran into oncoming traffic. They were hospitalized. They bashed their own heads in with hammers. They jumped off a bridge, then later murdered a man in the UK.
Let's get into it.
Here's some background information. Sabina Eriksson and her identical twin sister Ursula Eriksson were born in Sweden in 1967. Sweden, by the way, has a big twin studies program, like that movie, Three Identical Strangers. Have you seen it?
Yeah, it's terrifying.
It's terrifying. If you haven't seen it, please watch it right now. But we can't
Finish
substantiate...
the podcast, then watch it.
Yes, because but we can't substantiate that the Eriksson sisters were in the twin studies program.
Yeah, but we can't substantiate that they're in a twin studies program. But Sweden is huge for twin studies programs.
That's weird. That's a weird thing.
Yeah.
That's weird. There is no apparent history of mental health issues or criminal convictions. And by the year 2000, Ursula was living in the United States while Sabina was living in Ireland with her partner and 2 children. Ursula visited Sabina on Friday, May 16th, 2008, but then for unknown reasons, they secretly left Sabina's home for Liverpool, England.
Traveling by ferry, although no one from the ferry remembers them being on it, they arrived in Liverpool at 8:30 a.m. on Saturday and then quickly went into the police station, apparently in order to report concerns over the safety of Sabina's children. The Liverpool police contacted Dublin to follow up on the request, and they learned that Sabina had a fight with her partner the night before. The children were reported in fine condition. Then, a few hours later, at 11:30 a.m. that morning, again for reasons unknown, the pair then boarded a bus to London. A police report said that the twins suddenly left from the bus at Kiel Station, saying they were not feeling well. The driver of the bus, however, said he left them at the Kiel Station, even though it was not a scheduled stop, around 1 p.m. after becoming suspicious of their erratic behavior. He noticed the twins clinging to their bags tightly and did not let them reboard because they refused to let him search their bags for illegal items. The manager of the station was informed, and he also felt suspicious of the twins' behavior, movements, and fixation on their bags, so she called the police. Officers arrived to talk to them, but left after concluding that the women seemed harmless.
And then closed-circuit television cameras captured all of the following things.
This is where shit gets really weird.
The pair departed the station and began to walk down the M6 motorway before attempting to cross, causing traffic chaos. Sabina was struck by a car. The twins' older brother claimed in a Swedish newspaper that the sisters were fleeing from maniacs who were chasing them. The police officers responded to the incident, and they were accompanied by a small television crew who just so happened to be filming motorway cops with the officers. So all of this is
all on tape.
It's all on the internet.
And you can see it, like there's a documentary where you can see all the...
So the police had corralled the twins to the side of the road and were talking to them when, without warning, Ursula broke free and ran into the side of an oncoming truck traveling at 56 miles per hour. Sabina then quickly followed her into the road and was hit head-on by a Volkswagen. Somehow, they both survived, mostly unscathed. From this kind of impact, any normal person would have definitely died.
I mean, they ran into oncoming traffic and were hit by cars going 56 miles an hour and were like, fine.
One of them hit like a giant truck.
Yeah, they were chill. Ursula's legs were crushed and Sabina... broken. Ursula's legs were broken and Sabina spent 15 minutes unconscious. The pair were treated by paramedics. However, Ursula resisted medical aid by spitting, scratching, and screaming. She also told the policeman restraining her, "I recognize you. I know you're not real." And Sabina, now conscious, shouted, "They're going to steal your organs." To the surprise of the police, Sabina got up and started screaming for help and calling for the police, even though police were right there. She then hit an officer in the face before running into traffic again on the other side of the motorway. Emergency workers and several members of the public caught up with her and restrained her and carried her to an ambulance, at which point she was handcuffed and sedated. A suicide pact or drug use was quickly suspected. Ursula was then taken to a hospital.
And then Sabina was taken to another hospital where she became calmer and controlled and was released 5 hours later and taken into police custody where she remained relaxed. Who gets hit by a car going 56 miles per hour and then is released 5 hours later?
That's right. I've been dehydrated and taken to the hospital and had to spend the night. That's insane.
So while being processed, she told the officer, "We say in Sweden that an accident rarely comes alone. Usually at least one more follows, maybe two." What the fuck does that mean?
That's so ominous.
That's so weird. So 3 days later, on May 19th, Sabina was released from court without a full psychiatric evaluation, having pleaded guilty to the charges of trespassing on the motorway and hitting a police officer. She was sentenced to 1 day in custody, which she had already served. So then, leaving court, Sabina began to wander the streets, trying to find her sister in the hospital and carrying all of their possessions in a clear plastic bag. 2 local men spotted Sabina while walking a dog. One of the men was 54-year-old Glenn Hollinshead. He was a self-employed welder, and the other was his friend, Peter Malloy. Sabina appeared friendly and pet the dog, and the 3 struck up a conversation. And then Sabina appeared to be behaving nervously, which worried Peter. Sabina asked the 2 men for directions to any nearby bed and breakfast or hotels. And then Glenn took pity upon her and offered to take her back to his house. Once at the house, they had drinks, and her odd behavior continued. She was constantly getting up and looking out the window, leading Peter to assume that she had run away from an abusive partner. She appeared paranoid, offering the men cigarettes, but then quickly snatching them out of their mouths, claiming that they may be poisoned. Shortly before midnight, Peter left and Sabina stayed the night.
The next day at 7:40 p.m., Glenn left the house to ask a neighbor for tea bags and then went back inside. 1 minute later, he staggered back outside, bleeding, and told the neighbor she stabbed me before collapsing to the ground and quickly dying. As the neighbor called the police, Sabina fled and she was caught by CCTV. She ran out of the house with a hammer, periodically hitting herself over the head with it. A passing motorist saw this and decided to tackle her in an attempt to take control of the hammer. While wrestling with him, Sabina screamed and took a roof tile out of her pocket and struck him on the back of the head. So she was hitting herself in the head with a hammer and then had a roof tile in her back pocket and started like trying to kill this guy too. Cool. By the time she probably like, I mean, she does have a boyfriend. Everyone has a boyfriend except me. By this time, paramedics had found her and gave chase. The pursuit ended when Sabina jumped from a 40 foot high bridge onto the road, only breaking both ankles, and was taken to the hospital.
40 feet high.
She's like superhuman. She's hit by a 56 mile per hour car and is fine. And now she jumps off a 40-foot high bridge and is fine. A few weeks later, on June 6, 2008, she's also hitting herself in the head with a hammer and she's fine. A few weeks later, on June 6, 2008, she was arrested at the hospital and charged with murder the same day. Ursula was also released from the hospital in September and went back to Sweden and then the U.S. At her trial, Sabina pleaded guilty to manslaughter with diminished responsibility, having stabbed her victim 5 times with a kitchen knife. At no point during her interrogation or during the trial did she explain her actions, only replying no comment to extensive police questioning. Both the prosecution and defense claimed that Sabina was insane at the time of the killing, although she had become sane again by the time of her trial. Her defense claimed that she was a secondary sufferer of folie à deux. Folie à deux, influenced by the presence of her sister. The judge concluded that Sabina had a low level of culpability for her actions. She was sentenced to 5 years in prison, where she turned to Christianity. She was released in 2011. Her whereabouts are now unknown.
She served 5 years in prison.
That's fucking
for
nothing.
Murder.
Yeah. 5 hours in the hospital, 5 years in prison. Yeah.
Okay, so this folie à deux?
Folie à deux.
Folie à deux.
Folie à deux.
Folie à deux.
Let me have someone pronounce it for you. Hold on.
Like the internet?
French. Yeah, the internet.
Okay.
Folie à deux.
I took French for 10 years.
And you don't know how to pronounce that?
Nope.
Folie.
Folie à deux.
Folie à deux.
Folie.
Okay.
So folie à deux is a shared psychosis and psychiatric syndrome in which symptoms of a delusional belief and sometimes hallucinations are transmitted from one individual to another. So a phenomenon similar to folie à deux was induced by the military incapacitating agent BZ in the late 1960s. The book Bad Blood, Secrets and Lies of in a Silicon Valley Startup suggests that this ailment plagued the founder of Theranos, Elizabeth Holmes, and her boyfriend business partner.
Another
Ramesh
psycho
Alwani.
with a boyfriend.
Another psycho with a boyfriend. I think they're married now.
Oh, nice.
I think they secretly got married.
Good for them.
So I was looking up siblings who have murdered or twins who have murdered. And of course, there's like the Menendez brothers. Like, we know about them. But I found this thing about the Papin sisters, also French. Papin sisters. Okay, these two sisters, they worked as maids. They were inseparable. But they were rarely seen speaking to each other.
Crazy.
So that made people think like, oh, they're for sure telepathic. So they were live-in servants of a family in France in 1926. They never left the house. They had no interest in the outside world. And in 1933, they murdered the woman and her daughter who they worked for. Their faces were smashed. They gouged their eyes out. There's blood everywhere. And the twins were found lying naked in bed. They confessed very calmly. They were placed in separate prisons and they couldn't cope without each other. Leah, the younger of the two, was completely consumed by her sister to the point that her personality was nothing more than a mere extension of Christine's.
Well, we've talked about this. You and I have a fear of twins.
I tweeted like a month or two ago.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have an irrational fear of twins. Is that weird? And then you responded, oh my God, I do too.
I am terrified of twins. And my reason, no offense to any twins listening to the podcast.
Sure.
I'm not afraid of I'm a little afraid of fraternal twins, but I'm afraid of identical twins.
Yeah, it's
because I don't understand where the soul goes.
my favorite thing in this Google Doc that you added is in capital letters. It's WTF is a twin. Is it one soul or two? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Is that offensive? Is that racist?
Not racist. It's just a funny one that you're scientifically thinking the soul is like this thing that needs to be in one body.
Well, it's one egg and one sperm. It's like one thing.
Well, that's identical. Is one egg, two sperm?
No, it's one egg, one sperm, and then it splits.
Yeah, it splits.
Well, what's fraternal?
That's when you don't. That's when you kind of look alike, like a brother and sister.
But is that two eggs, two different sperm growing at the same time?
Honestly, I don't know. Let's
Fraternal twins are two separate fertilized eggs. They usually develop two separate amniotic sacs.
So that's two souls. That's easy.
And
That's
supporting
two souls.
structures. Identical twins may or may not share the same amniotic sac, depending on how early the single fertilized egg divides into two. So it's like one.
It's one egg dividing into two.
And
so
also
it's
one
exactly
sperm,
the same.
Is it one sperm or two sperms?
It'd be one sperm.
In a fraternal, it's two sperms into two eggs. So basically, fraternal, it's like a brother and sister are being born brother and brother at the same time.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. What's identical? One sperm, one egg?
If you come look at this picture, it's going to really help you out.
One egg. Let's see this.
See, that's identical. It's the sperm, the egg, and it basically splits into two. This is just you're getting pregnant at the same time.
Identical is one sperm, one egg. So
splitting
that's just,
into two.
That's one soul splits into two. So identical twins are just half
when
souls.
do you think the soul comes into play? Do you think that's
right when it's split?
At conception, Maria.
Yeah.
I'm a Republican. The soul.
Oh no.
The soul enters the body at conception. I don't know, man.
But yeah, I'm afraid of getting pregnant because if I have twins, if you're pregnant with twins,
what are you going to, Melissa? Oh my God, I'm nervous.
I'm just saying, and if you're like, fuck, I don't want twins, is it crazy to abort one of the...
Melissa!
I'm just asking. I'm just asking.
Yes, that's crazy.
A hypothetical. Has that been done before?
I'm sure it's been done. You can't do that.
But what if one of the twins... I'm sure it's been done because...
your body, your choice.
What if one of the twins has like a disease or something that's like it's going to die anyway?
Yeah, I think you can do that.
You can do that. But you can't just be like, nah, I don't want one.
No.
Hi, this is Web Crawler's editor, Molly. I have my own podcast. It's called Spermcast, and it's all about my fertility journey. So I'm kind of an expert in all of this stuff, and the answer is yes. The procedure is called selective reduction, and it used to be done just for women who did IVF and other fertility treatments where they ended up with triplets and quadruplets, and then they'd reduce to twins or singletons. It's also used if one of a set of twins has a terminal illness or an incurable disease, or if it's just a high-risk pregnancy. But these days, you can reduce just if you want to. It's your choice. It's like a really, really hard choice to make, like a Sophie's Choice kind of choice, but it is legal.
What if one is the devil and one is Jesus?
That's what I would think.
You guys, I typed in, because I want to know too about this soul question.
When does the soul enter the body?
So I found the Catholic Community Forum online.
Oh boy.
And they're talking about the soul conception and how it works for identical twins.
Oh, stop it. What'd they say?
No.
Well, this person says that is a difficult question that may not have a clear answer. The soul is infused into a person. Are identical twins two different people? Of course they are. They each have their own immortal soul. Conjoined twins are also two people who share parts of the same body. The Bible tells us a person is a sinner when she or he is conceived. We know that sin is in the soul, and so we can deduce that there is a soul at conception, like Allie was saying.
Exactly.
Solved.
This person says whether two people share the same genetic code seems rather irrelevant to me regarding the soul. Though they share the same DNA, they are two distinct individuals with separate consciousness.
I don't think they have separate consciousness.
Yes, they, Allie.
What if they have the same soul, but it's just split? I I was gonna say something smart, but I forgot.
Why is there like weird twin stuff? Like why, like when one twin's leg hurts, can the other twin feel it?
Well,
Irios just canceled us because I am afraid of twins.
I don't like twins. What if conjoined twins?
Yeah.
What if one commits a murder?
Oh, then what do they do about jail?
If they're two different, do they go to jail?
But I don't think conjoined twins stay conjoined to adulthood. I think they have the surgery before. I don't think.
No, there are adult conjoined twins.
Not in 2019.
Yeah, there are. There are these two gals. I remember seeing these two gals.
Yeah, there was a TV show.
Abby and Brittany Hensel.
They had a TV show.
No, there is.
They had a TV show. Are they still alive? Abby and Brittany. They were on like TLC or something.
27.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Adult conjoined.
Do they have one vagina?
Stop. I just talked about vaginas forever.
So what if one of them commits a crime? This is a thing for the big ones,
Oh my God,
Maria.
these two girls,
that's so right.
they're conjoined at the face. You can't.
Well, they have separate heads.
Do they share a brain?
No.
No, they have separate heads.
But they have everything else is conjoined. They're just conjoined at the neck.
Wow. I mean, and that is
mature enough to have this conversation.
I mean, this is crazy. I mean, just think of having to be that close to someone your entire life.
I could not do it. As a Pisces, I could not.
But they would be a Pisces too.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to be the same astrological sign as your conjoined twin.
So yeah, who can you commit? Because what if one head's like, don't murder that person, the other one's like, I'm gonna murder them.
I think that this was like the plot line of American Horror Story. Guys, we're getting so off track. We need to circle back to the Eriksson twins.
Okay, where were we?
Okay, so we're afraid of twins. So this is what drew us to this anyways in the first place. We have some theories about what caused this. In the trial, it was folie à deux that they were charged with, and what the overwhelming responses to this, that people think it was joint psychosis.
Yeah, they thought they were mentally ill and that they were schizophrenic.
Yeah. My guess, though, of course, is something far darker.
Oh, boy. Okay.
I'll do my first one. I think they were a result of MK Ultra.
Okay. I was reading about this too.
Okay, so in Project MK Ultra is, of course, we've covered it before in the Polybius episode, is a government program in, when was it? Like started in the 60s, and then it was revealed in the 80s that it was a legitimate thing that was going on.
Yes.
But one of the MK Ultra projects was Project Bluebird. In Project Bluebird, some of the components were, can we create hypnotic control and action contrary to individual basics moral principles? Can we, in a matter of an hour, 2 hours, 1 day, etc., induce a condition in an unwilling subject to such an extent that he or she will perform an act for our benefit? Could we seize a subject and in the space of an hour or two, by post-control, have him crash an airplane, wreck a train, etc.? Can we, by sleep-inducing techniques, force the subject to travel long distance, commit specified acts, and return to us or bring documents or materials? Could we guarantee total amnesia under any and all conditions? Can we alter a person's personality? Can we devise a system for making unwilling subjects into willing agents and then transfer that control to untrained agency agents in the field by using of codes or identifying signs? So these are all the things that were under MK Ultra's Project Bluebird, which seems like things that they were maybe doing. These girls all of a sudden got up and traveled a great distance for absolutely no reason that they knew of. They wouldn't let anyone look at their bags, and they are protecting them for dear life. Even if there was nothing in them, they were handling them as if they were classified documents or materials. They also acted as if they had like total amnesia of what they had done. One of the things was like in the hospital, Sabina was acting like everything was normal, that she hadn't just run into traffic. And that when they would ask Ursula about Sabina, that she was totally like, wouldn't even think about her sister. Like it was just like, oh yeah, my
there's
sister.
a video of her riding in the back of a police car.
Yeah, and she's acting totally normal.
They're having a conversation with, like, laughing with her, having a conversation.
Yeah, the one of the cops is like, yeah, she does well if you kind of like flirt with her. Yeah, and she's acting totally normal. So it's this thing of contrary action against a person's basic moral principles, traveling long distances. Also this weird superhuman strength, which was also part of the MK Ultra plan. plan to do. And I don't know, by that look on your face, you might have something similar.
Well, there is another thing called Project Monarch.
What's that?
That was an MK Ultra thing where it's like, similar mission where you have like superhuman strength. You have to like go deliver documents or whatever. But they were programmed to commit suicide if the mission went wrong. So maybe they were like, mission failed, run into traffic.
Yeah. That's crazy. Also, something similar, there's stuff online about saying that she's some sort of super soldier similar. I went to this crazy website, but it was what else is new? But it's like, I'm not being insulting to the women, the website said, but if you look closely, their faces and noses look like they've received many years of being punched and knocked about. She looks like a female boxer, most probably trained in kickboxing and other martial arts. I mean, like, no offense, but like she looks like her nose is kind of.
Which one? They're talking about both of them?
Yeah.
Because which one was married?
The blonde one, Sabina
was married, and she was the one who was saying like, they're trying to kill me, or you're gonna kill me. Like, was she being abused by her husband maybe, and like she just lost it?
I don't know. There's no reports of that, and that's what's also weird is that no one in the family has ever stepped forward visually.
No,
like their parents, their husband, their partners. Her brother has like quote unquote made a statement, but you've never seen pictures of any of them in newspapers, anything ever.
Yeah.
And then when she was released from prison, there's no pictures of her being released from prison. There's no pictures of her since. No magazines, no newspapers covered her being released from prison.
Yeah, there's nothing.
So she just disappeared into thin air. So if you're in some sort of government program, maybe her whole identity is falsified, that everything's been made up, because that's why like her family doesn't exist. There's no pictures of them. That's all falsified information. She's in some weird government super soldier MK Ultra program. Then she's incarcerated. Her time in prison, there's no evidence of it. And then she's quote unquote released, and now she's disappeared into thin air.
Yeah, where are her kids?
Yeah, where are those kids?
Where are those kids?
Yeah, we've never seen them, never heard from them. They're impossible to find.
Well, I think MK Ultra testing, it could have been part of the twin testing. Their DNA was altered by genetic testing when they were doing it like on twin babies, because Sweden has like
all the twin studies. Yeah.
Maybe it's something that happened when they were babies. What is that?
MK Ultra. I typed in Swedish MK Ultra and it's not anything.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Maria's going off again.
I also have a theory.
Yes.
They could have been smuggling drugs.
Interesting. Continue.
Yeah. Well, they went to the UK.
Okay.
To smuggle. So they left, like, they didn't tell anyone. They left mysteriously.
Right.
They were smuggling drugs. Maybe they tested the drugs themselves and like went crazy. That's why they're holding their bag so closely.
But
they wouldn't let anyone
drug testing on them, and nothing came up.
Did they do drug? I read that they didn't do drug testing.
I think they did.
But I don't know. I heard.
I read
different.
That they did.
I mean, they must have done drug testing.
Yeah, despite these incidences, there is no evidence that drug or alcohol were involved in the incidences.
Huh. Well,
I mean, they could have been trafficking them without using them.
Sure, yeah. But I mean, that would explain why they just left without notice, and why they were acting paranoid on the bus, and why they wouldn't let anyone search their stuff.
Yeah.
And why they were like trying to get away from the police.
Also, her brother, her quote unquote brother, who I don't think exists, released some sort of statement being like they would have rather been on the run than been gangbanged by maniacs.
Oh my, what?
Yeah. Did you not see that random quote?
No.
Yeah.
Their brother said that.
Yeah, saying that that's why they were running across the motorway, so that they were running away from maniacs who were trying to quote unquote gangbang them.
Oh, weird. Maybe that's why Sabina killed that guy,
because she thought that he was
a part of that whole thing. Well, because she stayed the night at his house. And it's weird. I like how it says he took pity on her and invited her over to stay the night.
Right.
We don't know that he took pity on her, invited. Maybe he lured her to stay the night. Saw like this vulnerable woman who was acting like crazy, like, come over to my house.
But what about the cigarette thing? That's so weird.
Well, that is very
offering them
weird.
Cigarettes and then saying that it's poisoned or laced, which is another MK Ultra thing, the lacing things with LSD or poisoning them.
Yeah, that is a weird.
Another thing that I found on the internet is due to the coroner's report said that the guy who they stabbed was actually stabbed with 2 different weapons.
Oh,
not
I
just
read that
one.
too.
Yeah, so what is that?
Well, there was another guy. No, that guy left. They were hanging out with 2 guys.
Yeah.
One guy left. She stayed the night. And then they said it was only her that stabbed him.
Yeah, but with 2 different, but they found the stab wounds were from 2 different weapons.
Oh, weird.
So not just a kitchen knife.
Wait, both of them were staying at that guy's house?
No, just the one, because Ursula was still in the hospital because her legs were crushed. And so Sabina was just out. They released her the same day. So she was just out wandering the streets.
And so what happened to Sabina? She was the one in the hospital, or that Ursula? Who's the one in the hospital?
Ursula's in the hospital.
What happened to her?
She was released after like a month, I think.
Yeah, and back to the U.S.
No
charges, because she didn't kill anyone.
Yeah.
She just fled into traffic.
And she moved to...
We found her.
Yeah. There's a thing.
my God.
Where was this? There's a post on the Sacred Heart Church of Bellevue, Washington, that says RCIA Rights of Scrutiny. It's posted April 18th, 2011.
RCIA is in church when you become like a adult, when you kind of get baptized, I believe, as an adult. I remember there being an RCA program in the church Catholic church I grew up in.
You're a good girl, Maria.
Yeah, no, I was already baptized, so I didn't have to deal with it.
Yeah, Maria. Good girl. Yeah, Maria.
It's the rite of Christian initiation of adults.
Maria doesn't like it.
No.
I'm just trying to spread the good word. I don't know. Have you heard? You heard the good news?
So the rites of scrutiny were prayed over our elect Jay Bailey and Ursula Eriksson, accompanied by their sponsors on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th Sundays of Lent. Whatever that means.
And it says, it goes on, the community praise of the candidates as they open themselves to be illuminated and healed by Christ and delivered emptiness, illusions, and death-prone effects of evil.
Okay.
It says she currently lives in Santa Barbara, but I don't know why she'd be going to church in Bellevue if she lives in Santa Barbara.
Well, that was 2011.
So maybe she's moved to SB now.
Well, according to Family Tree now, she lives in Goleta, which is right outside of Santa Barbara.
That's where UCSB is.
I was also reading, someone said, oh yeah, Goleta, that's where Raytheon is.
What's Raytheon?
Raytheon, the missile defense department.
Stop.
Remember you mentioned Raytheon in Cecil Hotel episode.
Stop.
Yeah.
That's the Invisible Light Agency?
Yes. Or they were part of it. I forgot. I just read that.
There's a connection between the Eriksson twins and Elisa Lam?
I don't know.
Every week, I'm astounded by our work. Oh my God. You know what else I realized? Is you know how in the documentary, if you have to watch it, but they put like space blankets on them when they're by the side of the road, like those like metal aluminum blankets.
Oh yeah.
And someone on a Reddit site was like, yeah, they do that. It's to keep them warm, but they did that so the satellite chips that are connecting with the microchips in their brain will stop.
Like they're like
what do you mean
they're
they'll
like
stop?
Vicky from Small Wonder.
Yeah, what do you mean we'll
You know, like how people wear like tinfoil hats?
Yeah.
Like that's why the cops tackled them and put on the aluminum blankets on them so that like they would stop getting the interference from the satellite. Just accept it.
Okay.
This is crazy, guys. Raytheon is also in Goleta. And Raytheon was the invisible light agency that worked out of the Cecil Hotel where Elisa Lam died and was doing the
testing.
The testing and the invisibility
cloak testing.
Okay, let's think. Let's put on our thinking hats, guys.
It says here the Raytheon Goleta facility, it closed in 2006 and it moved to El Segundo. But did it close for the public? And then did they continue doing stuff?
Secret testing.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff on the internet about like cloning kept coming up. And I was like, how does cloning fit into this?
Maybe it's a clone defect. Ursula's a clone of Sabina.
Clone's gone awry.
Like Michael Keaton in Multiplicity. They just keep getting like weirder and weirder.
Maybe there's no such things as identical twins. They're just all clones.
Yeah, that's possible.
Okay, wait. Let's look up Raytheon cloning. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh no.
Oh my God. Maria, turn me back on.
You're on, girl. You're on.
Have I been on the whole time?
Yeah, no, you're on.
Oh my God, I have a hot mic. Raytheon researchers have explored the idea of artificial intelligence that thinks and reacts as a specific person would.
Like a robot?
AI. So maybe Sabina and Ursula were artificial intelligence.
And she went back to Goleta
to get re-examined. She needed a reboot. And they went crazy because they were malfunctioning. And that's why they were so strong. That's why they could like jump off bridges and get hit by cars because they're
robot people. Yeah, because the video is crazy. If you watch the video, you see her running. She gets slammed by this truck, flies into the air.
It's crazy.
Lands on the ground, and she just like gets up like, huh?
Oh my God, look it. Modern military systems take in and create enormous amounts of data, enough to overwhelm anyone. There's even a name for that phenomenon, cognitive overload. One way to relieve the burden, a computerized co-pilot that processes data at superhuman speed. So maybe the co-pilot, the twins, were like two robots meant to co-pilot each other, but then they had cognitive overload and started fritzing out.
Oh, they became self-aware like in the Terminator.
Yeah.
I'm at a loss for a word. This is crazy.
Skynet became self-aware. The twins became self-aware. And that's why like they're trying to steal your organs. They stole their organs and replaced them with robot parts.
I don't know. I'm seeing more and more about this Monarch program online.
Oh, you reading about Kathy O'Brien and the Project Monarch? That bitch is crazy.
I didn't get that deep.
She said she saw
dip in.
George H.W. Bush had a hologram, and she saw the hologram, and it was a lizard person. She also claimed that she was raped by Hillary Clinton, so I don't know if I would trust anything she
she's
says.
Also like pro-Trump, that girl. I got into a little bit of her, and then I was like, oh, she's crazy.
Wait, is she part of the Monarch program?
She says she was a product of Project Monarch, and she's still recovering from it.
Oh.
So if you Google Project Monarch, she comes up. She's from Muskegon, Michigan, very close to where I'm from, of course.
And where is Sabina?
Sabina was released from prison in 2011, and she's still in Sweden. Apparently nobody knows where she is. She's not on Facebook.
Okay, well, it says here that she's lived in Goleta.
Right, she has the same address as her sister. So I'm wondering if she maybe moved to live with her sister.
This seems like another one because... I don't know, because they've got her Facebook page, but maybe this is just like...
Oh, yeah, I think that's just another Swedish lady, because I found that one,
Yeah,
too.
There's a couple different Sabinas.
Well, this website I'm on right now claims that they're alien twin hybrids. So that's what I'm going to go with. That's my hypothesis, is I think that they're robot super soldiers, or in the MK Ultra program.
I think it was folie à deux.
Well, that's like the most common. I mean, that's the most practical.
It's either that or drug smuggling.
Did you know there was a folie à deux case in Australia in 2016?
Was it the Weird Family?
I think so. The Mark Trump, 51, was found on Saturday night wandering alone on a Wangaratta road after bolting from the car the family were traveling in earlier this week. One of them was in a catatonic state.
Yeah, this Weird Family all of a sudden thought that someone was trying to break into their house or like kill them. So they all got in the car without warning, without any of their cell phones or wallets or credit cards, and they just started taking a road trip. And then a few days into the road trip, like the daughter was like, this feels crazy. And she kind of like snapped out of it and she took a bus ride home. And then a few days after that, the son was like, this is weird. And then like he took a ride home and I think like called the police and was like, my parents are acting weird. And then like the mom kind of snapped out of it. And then the dad was like in a catatonic state, like crazy.
But I see how that can happen, right? If someone is like manic around
it's like
you.
mass hysteria.
Yeah. And if they believe it so truly, then, you know, there's something in you that like just not goes. I mean, I would hope I wouldn't, but just like there's something in you that is like the defense mechanism of like, this person's running, I should run too.
Yeah, it's like the cult mentality. We've talked about it before, where it was like all those nuns started meowing in the convent in like the 1800s and like everyone else started meowing with them. Like it's just something, if you see one person doing something, your human tendency is to mimic it.
And it's like the Slender Man killings. Those two girls killed their friend because one of them was like, oh, Slender Man. But then the girl was like, yeah, Slender Man.
Yeah.
And they were like, went crazy and stabbed their friend.
Great point, Melissa.
Thank you. I always try to bring Slender Man.
Slender Man.
It all comes back to Slender Man.
There's one thing Melissa likes bringing up. It's Slender Man.
I love a good Slender Man story.
Yeah. So I don't know. But then also like something like that where it's like, is it carbon monoxide poisoning where like a family goes crazy and then once they get outside after a week, they're like, oh, actually, we're okay now.
Yeah.
But
that
I don't know.
carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yeah. But it's just so weird. Like these girls literally acted so nuts, but could turn it on and off so quickly, but also were impervious to 56 miles per hour cars and jumping off cliffs and banging themselves in the head with hammers, but then also killed a man, but then they were fine again. Like, it just makes no sense to me.
I found this article that says folie à deux doesn't just happen between two people. It can also occur with a human and a pet.
What?
This 83-year-old widow who was sure that her upstairs neighbor purposely moved furniture around to annoy her. Over the course of 6 months, the woman thought the neighbor was trying to frighten her from her home. She thought the man was sending violet rays through her ceiling to harm her and her dog. To protect herself, she placed her mattress under the kitchen table, used it as a shield from the ray. And for her dog, she built an air raid shelter out of a small table and a few suitcases. And the dog had become so conditioned to the air raid shelter that at the slightest sound from the apartment above, the dog would rush into its safety spot in the kitchen.
I don't know if that's folie à deux, though. I
No,
think that's like the dog
training a
having
dog.
Yeah, that's training a dog. That's Caesar Milan.
All right, the 13th floor.tv.
Yeah, we're not donating to your Patreon. Producer Maria,
Yes.
do you have a theory?
I think that, I don't know a lot about MK Ultra. You guys have really
Open your eyes to
opened
it.
my eyes, and my eyes are still closed. They're just like still, you guys are
You're
just
squinting.
you guys are slowly prying them open. And I like what I'm seeing, but it's just little by little. But it does seem like this is something where if they were having, like, there's the thing that gets me is the superhuman strength of like,
Me too.
Yeah, that's so weird.
if it was not, if they had been hit by the cars and then, been debilitated by that, that's one thing. But they were acting unhuman. Like, now, is that part of that adrenaline from whatever they were doing? Maybe. But then again, why wouldn't they have broken bones and stuff? Because it seems like her legs were crushed, but not the first time they ran into traffic, right?
No. They were both hit, and then they ran back out into traffic. And that's when a car ran over Ursula.
That's just crazy to me. And so that mean it just is not possible human wise, right? I mean, maybe we should get some sort of expert in here to talk about how humans react to being hit by moving vehicles.
Not well. I'll be the expert on this one. It ain't good.
I've never broken a bone.
I've never broken a bone either. Actually, no, that's not true. I broke once.
Wait, none of us have broken a bone?
I have. This is a great story. When I was 13, I thought I saw a ghost in my room. So I tried to run out the door and my foot hit the corner of the door as I was running out and I broke one of my toes.
Oh.
So you should walk slowly if you think you see a ghost instead of run.
Well, we're all not superhuman, I guess. I am.
Yeah.
Well, but you haven't been hit by a car.
Yet.
Knock on
wood. Melissa, where can people find us on Twitter, Instagram, all that shit?
At Web Crawlers Pod on everything. We're on Reddit. We're on Facebook.
If you want to donate to our Patreon, which would be so appreciative of, where can people find that?
Patreon.com/webcrawlers.
Yes, patreon.com/webcrawlers.
Or webcrawlers, but whatever. Google it. It's there.
Patreon.com/webcrawlers. I will say it with more gusto.
And let me just tell, as I'm producer Maria, rating and reviewing on Apple Podcasts and subscribing is a huge help to getting this show kind of out there and visible. You guys, you can talk more about this, but creating a community online is a big thing that you guys want to do. That shaking man head story was really great. We would love more of that stuff, right?
Yeah, send in more of your weird, creepy shit that you
we would love it if we never had to find the weird thing of the week, if it was always listener generated.
It's in our email box.
Yeah. It is so hot in this room that I literally can no longer form sentences.
I'm sorry. They turn off the air on weekends.
It's okay. I like it though. It's good for your body to sweat out.
Yeah, we're getting rid of all of our toxins.
And we're losing weight at the same time.
Great.
Anyways, yes, please send in your weird things of the week. And who knows, maybe yours will be the next one we read.
Who knows?
Anyways, the truth is out there. I'm Allie Siegel.
And I'm Melissa Stetton.
Keep on listening to
our
the podcast. Bye.
original.
Powered by Acast.